Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Today I will be explaining the powers and abilities of Wonderman. Simon Williams, scientist, Avenger, actor, and one of the strongest superheroes in the Marvel Universe. Simon has a very interesting origin story, so we'll start with that. Simon inherited his father's company after he died, Williams Innovations. At the time, Simon was only 22, and Tony Stark was in his early 20s as well. And at the same time, Williams Innovations was growing, so was Stark Industries. But because of Tony's genius and business savvy, Stark Industries easily overtook Williams Innovations. And due to the fact that Williams Innovations was failing, and Simon was young and inexperienced, he didn't know what to do to save the company. So he asked his brother. Simon's older brother Eric suggested that he should embezzle money and work with the Magia, a criminal organization. Simon did so, but eventually the board of directors in Williams Innovations found out, and Simon went to trial. Simon's bail was paid by Enchantress. It was all a scheme laid out by Zemo, the leader of the Masters of Evil. They offered Simon a way to get revenge on Tony Stark by giving him superpowers and using him as an experiment to see if it would actually work. Simon underwent the process, and he was given extreme strength and durability. Now, Zemo's plan was for Wonderman to infiltrate the Avengers and betray them. After Simon underwent the process, they tested his powers. He was bulletproof, and he was strong and fast enough to beat up the Executioner. Now, the process Simon underwent made it that he would die without constant treatments from Zemo. It was a way for Zemo to control him. Zemo gave Simon a superhero costume and gave him the name Wonderman. He then staged a fake battle against the Avengers. The Masters held back and allowed Simon to easily defeat them, proving his powers, showing his powers to the Avengers. The Enchantress then enchanted Captain America, making him more willing to accept Simon. Simon then joined the team, and to add to his sob story, Simon told the Avengers that he's dying. So Tony Stark and Hank Pym and all the Avengers came together to try to find a way to fix Simon, although they couldn't find one. Wonderman went through with Zemo's plan. He captured the Wasp to draw the other Avengers out, and using his ludicrous speed and strength, he ambushed the Avengers, defeating them all. But once Simon realized that Zemo's plan was to murder all the Avengers, Simon had compassion on them and knew that it was wrong. Simon freed the Avengers from their traps, the Avengers fought off the Masters, and then Simon tragically died without the treatment from Zemo. And for years, the Avengers believed Simon to be really dead. Eventually, Ultron would use the brain patterns of Simon Williams to map them onto a computer, creating Vision's psyche. So after Vision joined the Avengers, for years, Vision and the Avengers themselves thought of Vision as Wonderman reborn. But this was all untrue, because no one truly understood the process that Wonderman underwent to get his powers. What actually happened was the process wasn't complete. Wonderman went into a death-like state to complete the transformation. And what the transformation was, is that all of Simon's cells were transformed into ionic energy, making it that he doesn't need to eat or sleep or breathe. So Simon is very far from being a normal human, although he does look like one on the outside. Once Simon came back to life, the Avengers allowed him to hang out with them again. But this led to serious conflict between him and Vision, because Vision, for a long time, had assumed himself to be Simon Williams. But when he finds out that Simon Williams is in fact alive, this causes Vision to question who he is. And when he sees that Wonderman is creeping on his girl, Vision flies into a rage and starts beating down Simon. The two of them get into an epic battle, with Vision holding nothing back. Vision was lasering Simon right in the face and even reached inside of his body. But Simon was able to hold his own. And Iron Man was watching the whole thing, and at the time was the leader, and decided to just let them have it out. Until their fight got so big they started busting up Avengers Mansion, and Iron Man had to call it off. Simon proved that he was ultimately physically stronger than Vision, but with all Vision's powers, they were relatively on equal footing. Now, eventually, Simon's brother Eric, his older brother, became the supervillain known as the Grim Reaper, and was completely insane. He captured both Vision and Wonderman, and put them both on a trial to determine which one really was his brother. And as the Avengers talked it out, although they were forced at first, they all kind of became interested in finding out who really is the real Simon Williams. And the verdict was that it truly is Simon, that he wasn't a zombie or some fake creature. It was him, and he never actually died. And although Vision and Wonder Man started out as enemies, eventually they became friends. And due to the fact that Vision's brain patterns are based off of Simon's, Vision and Wonder Man consider each other brothers. And Vision even met Simon's mother, and she welcomed him into the family. And after all that, Wonder Man went on to be a longtime Avenger and a founder of the West Coast Avengers. And he went on to become best friends with his fellow Avenger, Beast. Now for Simon's powers. As you've already seen in this video so far, Simon is ludicrously strong, so we'll start with his strength. He's stronger than the Vision, and he's on equal footing with Thor and Hercules. And he's also strong enough to go toe-to-toe with the Hulk. This also showcases his durability, as he's able to take hits from the likes of Hulk, Hercules, Thor, and Vision. And Simon is also able to fight Abomination and knock him out. As for Simon's reflexes, he's quick enough to dodge Captain America's shield. Simon also possesses a healing factor and is effectively immortal. Because of his ionic energy, he doesn't age. As for Simon's skills, like most of the classic Avengers, they've been trained by Captain America, in which Simon learned Aikido from Captain America. Simon is also a genius. He understands how to use PIM particles and understands other forms of science. And other than being a superhero, he was also a stuntman and an actor, and very successful. And Simon would do actual stunts where he actually got blown up during his movies that he filmed because he could actually survive it. And Simon's acting abilities allow him to go on undercover missions. Simon also has the ability to fly. Now, originally, the way he flew was he wore a belt that siphoned off some of his ionic energy and turned it into a stream in which he could use to fly at supersonic speeds. Eventually, Simon learned he could control his ionic energy powers, allowing him to shoot energy out of the bottom of himself, allowing him to fly. Eventually, Simon learned that he could go into full ionic energy mode, becoming a being made up of purple energy. In this form, Simon was even more powerful. He can fly at supersonic speeds. He can unleash devastating blasts of energy. In this form, Simon can shapeshift and alter his size. In this form, Simon can create force fields, and he can sense and tamper with electromagnetic fields. And with his energy vision, he can see in different electromagnetic spectrums. Using his energy powers, Wonder Man was strong enough to overpower the Red Hulk and use his own arm to choke him out and defeat him. Simon can also teleport using his energy powers. Because Simon's ionic energy form causes his body to change shape, it's hard for him to keep his brain together, and it can cause temporary moments of insanity. On top of this, Simon also has PTSD from dying and coming back to life. So more than once, he's attacked the Avengers. But despite all of Simon's mental illnesses and strange familial relationships, Simon can still flash his Hollywood smile. And he continues to protect Earth as Wonder Man. Simon has always been the regular guy on the Avengers. Not in terms of power, but in terms of personality. He's just a regular guy. When he first joined the Avengers after he got his powers, he got kind of scared sometimes. He wasn't always going to throw himself in the battle right away. And the fact that Simon's eyes glow red made him shy, because he thought it was kind of weird looking. So that's why a lot of the time he wears shades. Simon was the one who started the trend of the Avengers giving people second chances. He technically started out as a villain and then eventually joined, just like Vision and Quicksilver and Wanda and Hawkeye. Simon was really the first one to establish that the Avengers are a place where anyone can come. No matter what they did or where they came from, they can join the Avengers and try and make a difference in the world. Well, everyone, thanks for watching. Until next time.